Good morning. It is currently 6:50 a.m. and I have to be at the bus stop at 7:30. So I have honestly a lot of time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some light makeup and I'm going to answer some questions before I go. Okay. So, the first question that people always ask me is, where do you live in China? It's not the most common place to live in China as a foreigner, but me and my family all live in the capital, which is Beijing. It's pretty big. There's lately usually there's a lot of foreigners here, but there's honestly hasn't been recently because, well, the circumstances. A lot of people are going out. Another question that I get a lot is, do you go to a public school? No, I do not go to a public school. I go to an international private school in China. There's no other English-speaking schools. Another question, let's think. I had a list. Another question I get is it weird living in China as a foreigner? And yeah, ever since COVID hit, I've lived here in Beijing for 2 years now. This is my third year living in Beijing. And I used to live in Shanghai 2 years before that. In Shanghai, it was not weird at all because Shanghai is very, international. A lot of people, it's a big city. A lot of people come from all over the place. But Beijing is more I don't know. There's not a lot of foreigners here, even before COVID. I mean, there were, but now there's less, even more less. So people are kind of weirded out by seeing people with blonde hair, mostly blonde hair. My brother, I don't have very blonde hair, but my brother has very blonde hair, and there's been a couple of times where people have asked to take a photo with him because of his blonde hair. So it's not necessary. It's not weird. It's just sometimes get random looks from people. What's school like? School is honestly pretty normal. The school that I go to, it's reasonably big. There's 100 people in each grade, and it's honestly not too bad, but honestly the foreigner population in Beijing right now is not very good. A lot of people are leaving and not coming back. People are not coming back to replace. The school is good. The teachers are really good. Some of the majority of foreigners that are teacher kids. Some people ask me what do you do for fun? And in Beijing, I'm gonna be quite honest, we're still going through the pandemic here, so there isn't a lot. China's going through this zero COVID policy. That means they still don't want COVID inside China. They've been blocking off the borders. It takes 2 weeks. You have to quarantine for 2 weeks to get into China. That is even if you have a visa. Basically can't go anywhere, including school, if you haven't had a COVID test in the past 2 days. Yeah. Okay, another question that people ask is, do you need VPN? Yes, we need VPN. VPN is a lifesaver in this country because China has basically everything blocked off. You basically can't access anything. You can't access Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, anything. Any sort of social media, especially. Another question that I get asked, how long are you going to stay there? Our plan was to originally stay in Shanghai for 2 years and then stay in Beijing for 2 years. That obviously got corrupted by COVID, and we had to leave at the end of Shanghai, so at the end of the 2 years COVID started. But then we went to the US for half a year. We thought we weren't going to be able to come back, but then there was kind of an opening. So then we came to China, and then we were stuck in China for 2 years until we went back to the US for the summer. And now we're back for our last year. Yeah. Last question, China is a hard place to live. Is it a hard place to live? yes, in my opinion, it is probably one of the hardest places I have lived. Only because of COVID. If it wasn't because of COVID, then it would not be that hard. It just takes a lot of effort, and it's really draining to like all the anxiety that comes with going in and out of the country. So currently the time is 7:10 and I'm going to make a coffee and then I'll be on my way. I packed my bag and I have rugby practice after school. Yeah.
I get to fall asleep. I asked my dad about it and he laughed at me.
That's us today.
Woo! This is such a smooth Zoom. God, don't miss this.
Hey guys, welcome to my Monday morning.
Hi guys. Hi Emmett.
Hi. Clean your camera, it's dirty.
Yeah, we used to sit there.
We used to be like that. Oh.
Bag is open.
Hi guys. Hi vlog. Hi vlog. How's it going vlog?